Welcome back to a new episode of a Glow Beyond podcast where we redefine wellness for skin condition. Today, I have a dear friend of mine here. She's gorgeous and her name is Jing Yi.
Hello, my name is Jing Yi. Hi.
I met Jing Yi a few years ago. Actually, the first year where I started Project Naked. That was back in 2018.
It was quite long. Time flies.
Yes, you came to our first ever Safe Space gathering. And we've been in touch ever since. It's been such an honor, actually, to witness your journey. Jing Yi is someone that I actually quite admire. I don't tell her. I don't tell her face to face because it's just weird sometimes to tell that to your friend, but probably I should do it more. But yes, I admire her a lot because she is an entrepreneur, a very successful one. And we all know that being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing to do. But on top of that, she's also been struggling with eczema since she's a kid. So today, we are going to get to know Jing Yi better, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with her.
Me too.
Because I know that this conversation is going to help so many people, and it is going to resonate with so many people out there, especially women. So, Jing Yi! I mean, just to start off, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about yourself.
My name is Jing Yi. I'm 32 years old this year. Feel like a pageant like that. I have eczema since I was a kid. And I was the only person in my social circle that has it. So it was seen as something that's not normal. So actually it upset my mom quite a bit because she was like, oh, my daughter, I don't really want her to suffer this. So she was very anxious about it, right? Because she thought, ayo, Lui Zai, gonna look pretty, you know. So she was very upset lah. And I remember seeing so many doctors since I was a kid. So many. I don't think my fingers and my toes can count. And as a kid, I don't think I think too much about it. It was a bit uncomfortable at times. But the struggle, the mental struggle, the physical struggle really, really started to affect my confidence and my self-esteem.
How old were you when eczema first came to your life?
Since I can remember. I don't even know how old it is. Like, I had it my whole life.
So it's safe to assume, like, even during toddler age lah?
I assume so, but my mom never really mentions it lah. I mean, I guess my first memory of having eczema maybe is about 4 to 5, the ones that I can remember. Yeah, since I was a kid, yeah.
And you shared that you also went through a short period of steroid withdrawal. Maybe you can share a little bit how it was for you.
So, continuation of what I mentioned earlier, had eczema since I was a kid. To be honest, so many doctors that I've seen so far, the conventional GPs, the ones that are so-called skin specialists, if I really were to condense their advice in 2 sentences is, there's no cure, you just have to take medication your whole life. That's what I did. I was on and off steroid for a very long time, different forms of steroid, the cream ones, the pill ones, the injectable ones, all of them. On and off more than 10 years, 10, 15 years at least. And when I was about 20, 26, like that, it just, like eczema just, because when I was younger, it was just localized to the back of my arms, the back of my legs. But at 26, it just blew up everywhere. I had scalp eczema, it went all the way down to my toe, it's everywhere, back as well, everywhere. And at the time, steroid no longer works. It was quite scary because all this while I thought that was like my savior, you know. Okay, problem, just take steroid, no problem. Man. Because doctors say, no side effect one. Just take that your whole life lah, no problem one. So for the longest time, that was like my safety blanket. Then suddenly you tell me, this thing no longer works. I was so scared. I don't really know what to do at that time, but I just remember thinking to myself, I was only like 20, 26 that time. Takkan I take meds my whole life? It doesn't make sense, right? Something's not right. I don't know what is right. I just know steroid is not right. And around the time, that's why I gone through steroid withdrawal. I didn't know that was steroid withdrawal until the doctor told me.
I see.
He was like, you have to get rid of steroid. The last doctor I saw, he's an immunologist, and he was like, first step, get rid of your steroid. Then only all of the weird symptoms started coming. I had panda eyes. It was like pink color one, but like panda eyes. I still have a little bit. My entire face was just red and swollen, and that took a while, right? So I was very grateful for that doctor because he took me off steroid. But he got me on another drug which is antihistamine. But he said that one is a lot more mild compared to steroid. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So that whole thing took about 2 years. Then only it started fading off. Yeah, so it was uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable already to have eczema, then you have steroid withdrawal out of it. So that few years was crazy. Yeah.
So we always catch up on our own, and I know that Jing Yi has been exploring nutrition therapy. So maybe you can share a little bit about it with us. How did it go for you, and how is it going for you right now?
So what I didn't mention earlier is that I'm also a dietitian. I graduate from uni as a dietitian.
Are you?
Yes.
I never knew.
I knew since I was in uni that I'm not going to be a dietitian.
Okay.
But you know, like Chinese parents, they're like, just finish. Maybe you change your mind. Like, okay, cool. So I finished it and I never changed my mind. I started my entrepreneurial journey really, really young because I knew that it was the kind of challenge and the lifestyle and the pace that I like. But being a dietitian, I think that's a blessing out of it. That's where I thought, okay, medication is not going to work. I need something long-term, I need something sustainable. My ultimate goal is I want to be healthy. I don't just want to be disease-free. So I think to myself, okay, I have that knowledge. It's a blessing that I have that knowledge. What can I do with it? And the weird part is we don't learn any of that too.
Yeah, but it's very interesting you mentioned the concept of being disease-free versus being healthy and happy. How did you come up with this? Can you share a little bit more?
So like I mentioned, at 26, I was telling myself, no way I need to take medication my whole life. It doesn't make sense, right? Who at such a young age will need to take meds their whole life? So I think to myself, okay, I need to do something. Probably has to start with diet because you eat a minimum of 3 to 4 times a day, right? It influences you a lot because you put that into your body. So I thought, okay, something along the line of nutrition. But what can I do? So that's where I started exploring a lot more. And I think I stumbled upon a friend whose mother also has eczema. So then she introduced me my first ever functional medicine doctor.
Oh.
Which was a very strange experience because her clinic was like hidden in some tower. No signboard, no nothing one. It was just like hidden somewhere. Never mind lah. I've already seen so many doctors. No harm just trying another one. So she was the one that introduced me the elimination diet. So I did a food sensitivity test, which is not a food allergy test, it's a sensitivity test. And she was the one that explained to me that at our current condition, the main reason why we have eczema is because our gut is very weak. I was like, what is this? Never learned that in school. And she was like, so she explained to me, like, you know, the food that we eat and our immune condition actually influence everything that's inside our body. It influences our organ, influence our entire digestive tract. So when you are in a not so balanced state, your gut is very, very weak. So everything that you eat, if it's something that your body cannot accept, you'll have signs of rejection. Because when the food goes into your body, it recognizes it as something foreign. Yeah, so long topic altogether.
Did you mention leaky gut syndrome too?
Yeah, leaky gut syndrome. So when she mentioned it, she was like, okay, the first stage you need to do is you need to start eliminating a lot of things that your body doesn't recognize for now, and it's rejecting. Like, imagine when you are hurt already, right? People slap you some more. It's a lot more painful. So you just remove the thing that's hurting you first. So I was like, okay. And in my head that time, it was very weird lah. But never mind, I just want to try. I was like, okay, nutrition, let's try. So I eliminated a lot of food. The list was really long. After I did the test, it was like 50 foods. Wow. Oh, it was very overwhelming. It was overwhelming for me, overwhelming for my family. But we thought, okay lah, we try meds already, let's try this. So I eliminated a lot of food and I do see improvement. I was like, oh, suddenly someone gave me some pointers and I finally got it. I've never had, it's always like worse and worse and worse and worse. I've never had like that one tiny little up.
So what are the top 5 things that you find it hardest to eliminate from your diet? You said the list was 50, right?
The list was, to be honest, at that time, I was so desperate, it was quite easy.
Okay.
My mindset was like, if this thing helps me eliminate all this pain, all this itch, all this flaking, then let's do it.
I really love your determination.
Yeah, because it was so bad already. Like I think I was already like hitting rock bottom that whatever I do, it's no longer as painful as suffering the condition. So I tell myself, it was very hard at first. Like I still think a lot, but my changing, like my decision point came in when I think to myself, I'm already suffering. What if I cannot eat this for 5 years, 10 years? I get the rest of my life back. Enough lah. You know, so I tell myself, let's give it maybe around 5 years. It's been 6 years already, but I'm still okay. Let's give it 5 years. If it doesn't work, at least you become a little bit healthier. It's better than nothing. So it was quite easy. Like my doctor even he told me casually, you know, you just avoid alcohol only lah. Not healthy anyway. It's not gonna affect you, but not healthy anyway. Immediately that day I stopped drinking already. But my friends were like, who is this?
Alcohol is one of the toughest thing for some of us to eliminate from our everyday life.
Yes.
And I don't really understand why, to be honest, because I don't drink. But I would say that it's kind of like a universal rule where if you have a skin condition or any other condition for that matter, alcohol is one of the first things that you need to take care of.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for sharing. So no, I really want to ask, like, is there any like top common sensitivities for people with eczema?
I feel like in general, if you have leaky gut syndrome, the first thing to eliminate is dairy, because cow's milk just comes with a whole lot of, not just, you know, poking a lot of unnecessary pain into your system. It does more than that. So the first thing I removed was dairy, and even until today, I don't really touch dairy. Second thing I feel like is eggs, for multiple reasons, but eggs is also one of the top inflammatory foods. The third one, if you can, it's a bit difficult, is gluten lah. And then the other two was more personal to me. It was soy and also legumes. So this was the top 5 thing that until today I try my best to avoid, especially top 2.
I see.
Yeah.
Does it mean you cannot eat dal?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The safest few cuisine for me is like Japanese and Korean. That's it.
I mean, for the ones who are listening to this, this is not medical advice, but it's just a purely sharing from Jing Yi. If you're currently dealing with eczema, psoriasis flare-up, you can actually just explore eliminating some of these foods from your everyday life and see how it goes.
Yeah.
It always starts with experimentation.
For sure.
Unfortunately, for people like us, our condition is so versatile, you know, like it's so...
It comes out in so many ways.
Yeah, exactly. So
Trigger can be anything.
Exactly. You would never know, like sometimes you just do the things right and it help you a lot.
Correct.
So I'm very curious to kind of learn from your experience where, you know, when you saw a functional medicine doctor for the first time, and for your life before that, you were just exposed to, you know, being told that steroid medication or other medication was the only way. That switch, it requires people to be quite open-minded, right?
Correct.
So how did it go for you? Was it difficult for you coming from a background of dietitian, like knowing what you knew, right? It's like, I'm a dietitian, you know, nutrition. Yeah, how was it?
It was quite hard actually, because in school we learned because it was a degree program, right? It's not like masters or PhD, so we don't go very deep into research. We don't go very deep into exposing ourselves to a lot of updated information. It was just whatever that's taught in school. So the beginning, right? I don't even believe that such thing as leaky gut syndrome. I was like, some fat lah, somebody came out already because they want to sell some products.
Because we never studied about it, right?
We never studied about it. We never even studied about sugar as an inflammatory ingredient. So I remember someone asked me when I first graduated, someone was like, sugar's not good, right? Because it causes inflammation. I even told them no. You know, that's a fad. I know. Mistakes. But it's really, I think at that point of time, I was already at such a low that I had to actively remind myself that there are other options out there, and whatever that I learn, it's only the tip of the iceberg. And if I don't learn enough, if I don't know enough, then I'm only limited to one option. My early days were just a lot of medication, testing for different allergies, which that list is not very long. If any one of you have done an allergy test before, that list is really not, there was probably like 20 things. And I've done allergy tests for quite a few times. It's always nothing wrong with you, like just dust.
Same.
Yeah, so I've done it a few times already. I've tried medication so many times already. I think to myself, if this thing doesn't work, then try something different lor. You never know, maybe, and this is my mother lah. She was like, maybe one day you remove that one thing in your life and all your problem go away already. I was like, oh, okay lah, let's try to find that one thing lah, right? Let's try to find that shortcut. So that's where I told myself, just try lah. As long as it doesn't cost too much, as long as it's not dangerous, no harm lah, just try lah. So I went through quite a few phases of trying really weird things, but the first one was functional medicine, thankfully. And the doctor was so patient with me. She teaches me a lot of things, although half of it in my mind at that point of time was like voodoo like that lah. Huh? You need to do this, you need to do, I've never heard of any of that. So I told myself, never mind lah, she tell you whatever, if you don't trust, then you go back and Google lor. So I was Googling a lot, I was YouTubing a lot. I was like, got a lot of doctors talking about it overseas. So I thought, so that gave me a bit of that confidence boost, because at the end of the day, you're a science student.
Yeah.
So you want to get validated by legit information, science information. So I see, actually a lot of doctors out there, but overseas doctors that are advocating for all of this. So that's where I got a bit more confident. I was like, I don't think she's charging me too much. I don't think she's trying to endanger my life. Okay lah, let's just try lah. 硬着头皮 just try. Yeah.
And you mentioned that, you know, the concept of being disease-free versus healthy. How did that concept, the change of perspective or change of concept, affect your decision-making process, like the choices that you make for yourself?
Honestly, it affected everything. I think around the time where I was exposed to functional medicine, functional nutrition, and I started playing around with my diet quite a bit, eliminating foods, I saw the biggest leap of improvement I've ever seen. So it gave me a bit of that confidence boost. And at the same time, I remember a lot of people telling me, you're so uncomfortable, you're so unhappy, take meds lah, nothing one, so easy, just pop a pill and then half your problem will go away. So I was exposed to two very different information at the same time. And that's where I started thinking, on one hand, it's, yes, short term my problem will go away. But I have already been on this short term thing for over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not that short term, it still comes back.
Comes with a lot of pain too.
It does, it still comes back.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I don't just want to be free of symptoms. I want to be healthy. I want to not do anything and sit down and have no condition. Can I do that? Can I do that forever? And that's where I think to myself, I understand that choosing the lifestyle method, choosing nutrition, choosing the slightly hard way,
The long way.
might be a bit more sustainable. If anything, I come out of it a little bit healthier.
Yeah.
So I think to myself, you know what, it's going to be hard, but I would rather be 50 years old and have 60% of my eczema gone than to have symptom-free at 60 years old, but the minute I stop my medication, everything comes back.
Yeah.
So I think to myself, you know what, that 60% discount sounds very good. You know, hopefully it's 60% and more, but even then 60% discount sounds very good. So I think to myself, you know what, let's go with the long-term thing. Let's try to not be reliant on medication, not be reliant on any drug. If my lifestyle and everything can change and I can sustainably become healthier forever, I think that's good.
And I think your journey really resonated with me personally because that's exactly what I went through. And I realized diet is actually a huge part of my healing journey. And even though it's exhausting, like right now I feel like I'm taking a break, but it is still something that affects us and it should play a very important role in all of our skin healing journey. And I'm sure that, like, both of us, I'm sure we do readings all the time, we do research and learning from the internet, from the doctors that are active on social media, and we learn new information every single day. And the practice of being open-minded actually really humbles us down, and I think it's especially is for you as a dietitian. So can you share a little bit more about your experience of your learning journey in helping yourself to equip yourself with knowledge and tools to get better?
That's a very good question. I told myself, like, whatever that I think I know is probably very outdated. And I think some of the doctors that I follow on YouTube and whatnot, the ones that are legit, because I do check their background as well, they're like, you know what? Education, it's a very rigid system, right? They have to be rigid, otherwise how are they going to handle so many intake every single year, right? They need that rigidity. And the purpose of your education, whether is it university, whether is it college or whatsoever, they only prepare enough for you to survive in society. They are not meant to make you thrive. So after knowing that, right, I keep telling myself, what you know is only on the surface. You don't know enough. There's so many information out there. I think you should accept that you don't know everything, and it's okay, right? It's fine to accept that you don't know everything and just learn, right? Because at the end of the day, that benefits you more. It benefits you so much more on a personal level, and hopefully when you know enough, you can benefit other people in your life too. So it's quite humbling, to be very honest, because at the beginning, when we were graduating, I still remember my professor was like, you guys are going to go out and change the world, You're going to go out and you're going to teach people and people are going to be healthy. Like, it was not a pep talk, right? Because we were, our lecturer's favorite batch.
Yeah.
So they gave us a lot of confidence boosts, a lot of pep talk, So we're like, yeah, we can do it. By the time we go, I don't know enough. So it's humbling, really, honestly, it's humbling. But at the end of the day, I feel like there's only pros lah. There's only pros, right? There's not much cons to just accepting that you don't know enough. And it's okay. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you had to eliminate 50 items from your diet at that point of time, suddenly. I'm sure it wasn't easy.
No, it's not.
Because I feel like you need to say no a lot.
I need to say no.
And in other terms, it's about setting boundaries, like expressing our preferences, saying no to this and saying yes to other stuff. And other than that, I'm pretty sure you would feel like a burden to have around and an inconvenience to other people.
Yes.
How was it for you? Can you share a little bit about how you navigate the journey?
It was not easy, to be very honest. The immediate effect that I felt was my social circles shrank by 90%. My drinking friends are obviously not drinking with me anymore because I couldn't drink. My party friends are not partying with me anymore because I'm not comfortable to party. So I really just shrank down a lot. Like, suddenly my world became really small. But what made it a little bit easier was MCO lah. You can't go anywhere anyway.
I just want to say MCO was very comfortable for me.
MCO was very comfortable for me.
I mean, a lot of people had a very hard time during MCO.
Yes.
Actually, I loved it.
I was so comfortable.
I can just be at home and I get my things done. I don't have to feel stressed about being out.
Yes.
And I think most importantly is because I think people who are sick like us, right?
Yeah.
We always look at the world moving on without us.
Yes.
But for the first time ever, everybody just stays still. Okay, sorry, back to you.
It was easier for me because during my experimentation, because yes, it was a long list, so me and my family, my boyfriend were like, oof. So what can you eat? So that's a very good question. What can I eat? So we start small. let's just eat with the things that are 100% safe. So we started with just veggie and meat. Everything else we just don't touch because we're like, don't know. And the worst part was because my symptom was so serious that time, right? Whatever slight improvement or whatever slight increase in inflammation, right? I don't know. I can't tell the difference. So in my head, I was like, then I have to be even more strict because that slight fluctuation in terms of improvement or being worse, I cannot really tell the difference. So I told myself, I have to be very strict. So we start from the safe, first thing, not meat, veggie. We're like, enough. Got nutrition, not too bad. Let's just start there. So I was there for a long time because that was my comfort zone now. That was my new comfort zone. Just eat meat, veggie, that's it. And I could cook at home. So I control everything from using the right oil, just salt and pepper, no other sauce whatsoever. It was very comfortable. Suddenly I thought, okay, I got a bit of that rhythm back. Because initially I was like, I lose all of my habits and I had to rebuild new habits. So that was really, really hard. So I started from just eating at home really often, and when I need to go to work, because my company is under essential, so we do work throughout MCO. And when I really need to go to office, I'll just cook lor. It's a bit tiring lah. I have to wake up very early just to cook my meals and whatsoever.
Good thing was that it has no jam, right, that time?
Yeah, that's the best thing. Like no jam, you do everything on your own, you're in your little bubble. It's very comfortable for me. So I started there. Then when everything started opening up, okay, that's the second part of the challenge comes in lor. How to go out and eat and what I can eat. And that was the first time it was very scary for me because I have to announce it to whoever that I'm meeting. Sorry, right now, I have this condition, I feel like I have to give out a brochure every time I see another friend. Sorry, I cannot, I got this condition, And that's where you realize where your tribe is. You realize who are the people that are really supporting you. And those are the people that give me a lot of strength. They're like, it's okay lah. We don't eat with you very often. When we eat with you, we eat what you can eat lor. So that was very comforting for me to know that there are people that are rooting for me, there are people that care for me and are willing to be a bit inconvenient in order to accommodate me. It was hard at first, but they were just like, it was a split-second decision. They don't even have to think. Can eat what you want lor. It was very fast. Whereas you see, there are other people that are not really your tribe, you really are an inconvenience to them. So it's not that I was really upset or whatever. I do have to go through a grief period, really grieving like, I no longer have a social life, it's a lot smaller, it's fine. But I also understand that there are different seasons in life, and currently it's the season to be grounded, it's the season to be healthy, it's the season to just be small and just do whatever that you need in order to survive. It's fine that you're not having the most fun in the world, it's okay. But if you're healthy, then it's a good trade-off for now. Doesn't mean I can't have fun in the future. So that's how I started. But even then, socially, it was quite challenging. Really, really challenging. So I had to be a bit thick-faced and to just say, sorry, this is... And especially going out eating, it was really hard. I have to apologize for like 100 times to every single waiter that serves me. Sorry, And the thing is, I have to lie half the time too. If you just say sensitive, no one's gonna care. Can you can eat one no problem So I have to say until I will die like that lor.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of lying, but sometimes when you have symptoms, you just show them, see, cannot eat make sure don't have
That's what I do too.
Yeah.
It baffles me sometimes we need to try so hard to convince people.
I got problem.
Yeah. I got problem. I cannot eat this. Can you just don't feed me this?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard for... I mean, I understand sometimes for people who are not our tribe. Okay? But for waitresses and chefs, sometimes I feel like they really should know better.
I mean, I understand that they deal with a lot of customer every single day, and sometimes they do deal with difficult customers. So I had to also convince them I'm not a difficult customer. So I have to keep apologizing to them. I'm not difficult, but... sorry, if you don't do this, I will literally die. Can you make sure it's not here? So in the end, my strategy is I will go to places that I know that has the least problem. So I don't go to Tai Chow. I go to Japanese food, for example. Because you already know what the sashimi has nothing in it apart from just fish.
Yeah.
The rice has nothing in it apart from just salt and vinegar. You already know that there are less problem there. So at the beginning, but I got very sick of Japanese food for a while.
Top 5 cuisine that you can recommend.
Japanese, first thing, because it's really quite clean. Japanese, Korean, but not like the tteokbokki Korean, like Korean barbecue. I feel like they are quite clean. You just eat veggie and meat, right? And try to ask for the ones without marinade. Third one.
Japanese, Korean.
Surprisingly, Arabic food. But if you are allergic to dairy, then you have to choose the ones that understand your concern. Because they are quite clean. To be honest, being on this condition taught me a lot of things. So I had to learn like history of like, this country, where their food come from. So if you really understand Arabic countries, right, they do not have a lot of resources. They have a lot of meat. They might not have the most veggie. They have a lot of rice. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes they'll have milk. So you know that, in general, these are the resources that are available to them. Then your problem also less. So you know the cuisine, you understand already, you understand how it's cooked. Then you can communicate with them. For Arabic, it's just dairy. As long as there's no dairy, you are generally quite safe. For me, I can't think of anything else.
Good enough.
Yeah,
It's
good
okay.
enough. These are if I really just want to brain date today, I'll just pick one from the three. The rest of it, I really have to think. Italian don't even have to think about it. I apologize to their ancestors, so no use.
Everything also got butter lah.
Everything got butter, everything got cheese. I can't go to an Italian place and say, sorry, no cheese, no butter, no milk. They're like, don't come and eat lah.
Exactly.
So it's hard. Like there are certain cuisines that for me, it's out of the picture. Chinese, to be honest, was the longest time the hardest thing for me to try to navigate. Because there's soy, there's gluten, there's egg, there's low quality oils.
It's a lot of wheat too.
It's a lot of wheat too. So it's a lot. So for at least 5 years, right, my Chinese New Year, I had to bring my own food. Then my cousin, my ama, they're like, "You're so kasihan, why you're not eating with us?" I'm like, I'm eating with you, I'm here, I'm just eating my own food. Just gotta get used to it.
I totally understand because I didn't really want to sacrifice my social life.
I understand.
So I brought my green smoothie to a bar. That happened a few years ago. I literally brought it there just so I could spend time with my friends.
My trick with bars and any gatherings that involves alcohol, I will go with sparkling water.
You know what I would do? I would get water like this and I get them to put some green leaf in it. So it looks like what's that called? Vodka? Or tequila? I don't know. I don't even know the names of alcohol, sorry. But it really looked like I was having alcohol.
I choose to order sparkling water because number one, it's expensive enough so that the bar feels like they're still making money out of me. Because sometimes they get like a bit sad that, because a lot of times bars in Malaysia especially, they don't have the most seat. So the only way they make money out of it was that you have to order multiple drinks.
True.
So if I go there, I don't order anything, I actually feel very bad. And I have a lot of friends that are bar owners. So after a while, I realized, actually sparkling water is expensive enough. They feel like they are making money out of me.
Entrepreneur thinks differently. For me, I just go for ladies' night.
I understand. Yeah. So my trick was sparkling water. Yeah. So it looks like you're having some bubbly drink also lah.
Yeah. I want to ask a very direct question. So how do you say no to people? How do you communicate your needs? How do you reject people when they offer you things out of love?
Oh, to be honest, that's really, really hard. I think the natural part of going through this is that you have a smaller circle right now. There are less people that you have to say no to. But the hard part is that you have to say no to a lot of people that cares about you. Because whoever that's left behind are the one that cares about you.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was I allow them to understand. Because I feel like a lot of times you can't just tell them, oh, I cannot. So I try to allow them to understand as well so that they feel like they are part of the journey. They feel like they can also make decisions for you in certain places. Like sometimes I go out makan, my teen face will come back and I say, never mind lah, it's okay like that. And no, how can you say it's okay? No, she cannot eat one. You make sure. So sometimes they will fight for me because they understand. So that's part one. Part two, I feel like really is a lot of gratitude also. I will always make sure that I remember what they like. I will say thank you. I don't think they expect anything in return. But to know that you are appreciated because you're fighting for a friend or you're fighting for a family member feels pretty good. At the end of the day, everybody wants to help someone out. So I try my very best to express my gratitude.
I really like what you said before. I mean, we had a short chat before we started recording. And you mentioned that one of the most important things that you learn to do in this journey is understanding your own needs,
Yeah.
communicating it in a way that is respectful for the people around you. And I
Yeah.
find it so beautiful. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, because I feel like with different people in your life, their exposure, their education, their understanding are all at a different level. So in the past, I was always like, this one I cannot lah. You don't understand me? So after a while, I started realizing that, people are very scared of me. They are very like intimidated, and my social circle is already small enough, so I figured, okay, cannot be so angry, cannot be so angsty. We're going to be a bit nicer.
I have to say, when Jing Yi doesn't smile, it is a little bit intimidating. Because she's also very tall.
I do get that a lot. I do get that a lot. So I try to be very understanding. So I will always start with saying thank you and saying sorry first. And then I just want to be respectful. Like, I want to be respectful of your effort as well, because you're trying so hard to help me. Then why am I not making it easy for you to help me?
That's beautiful.
So I just want to make them easy. Like, you want to help me also, very easy to help you. Sounds so good. So I try to do that lah. But it's also out of a lot of trial and error and making a lot of mistakes along the way. Yeah. So I feel like there will be a lot of people that are trying to help you, but if you don't help them help you, nobody's helping you. So just do that, right? Do that in a very respectful way. If they don't understand, never mind. Try to make it easy to understand. Try to draw a paper, whatever it is. As long as they understand, I'm sure that the ones that are there for you, they just want to help you.
I think that's a very beautiful way to wrap things up when it comes to this topic. And I always say on my social media is that don't assume that people would just understand you. It's always very helpful for us to state our preferences, like telling people and explaining to people that this is what we prefer, this is not what we want. It is such an underrated thing to actually do this, and seeing it as a way that you are actually teaching people how to love you. And that is very important, because people who want to love you, they want to know about all this. They want to know how to love you too. So, like, in order for us to navigate the feeling of, being an inconvenience, the truth is, yes, we are an inconvenience to people that, to some people, not everybody. But there are a lot of people who, our inner circle, there are a lot of people who care about us, and they are very keen to know how to care about us.
If it's an inconvenience for the majority of the people, then at least allow the ones that are closest to you to understand you.
Don't allow this skin condition to push people away from you. People that truly care about you, because don't take people for granted lah. That's why people say. That's why I always say, don't take people for granted. And if people are staying in your life, make it easier for them. Another question that I really want to ask you is also, being an inconvenience. What did you have to come to terms with that it makes you a little bit more comfortable being in such a space? How do you navigate being in a space where you're always viewed as a person that bring inconvenience for other people? How do you navigate that?
I think what I try to do is, I try to be the one that does the most homework. I try to be the one that be the most prepared. So example, let's say this month's my birthday month. My friends were like, okay, we want to celebrate you. Where can you go? So in the past, I'll be like, never mind, you choose lah. But around I'll be like, okay, you know what? I will do my research. I'll give them 5 options. These are all of the options that I've either vetted before or I know it's safe. I already vetted it. So among this option, you pick the one that you like the most. So at least win-win lah, right? So I already did my homework. I know what I can and cannot have. But I still give them options so that they feel like, wow, I get to pick what I like also. So I try my best to be more prepared. Really is being more prepared, to be honest. If I already know that dairy is my biggest problem, then try not to go to an Italian restaurant, example. You know, try not to go to places where you know that you're gonna hit a wall. And when you hit a wall, you feel sad, everybody around you is going to feel sad together with it. Yeah, so I try to be prepared. I think that's the key thing, just to do a bit more research. If you really need, call and ask questions. Like one of the options that my friend presented me was a very nice restaurant. I was like, can you give me half a day? I'll call them. When I call them, they're like, sorry, we cannot help you. 90% of our menu has things that you cannot eat. I'm like, okay, never mind, thank you very much. Maybe in the future I can come. So I told her, sorry, this is out of the option, but here's 5, pick one. That very thankfully among the 5, one of it was a favorite restaurant. I was like, okay, we get to celebrate, we get to have good conversations, and we are picking one of your favorite restaurants. So I was like, it was a win-win. I was happy, she was happy, like it's all good.
Honestly, it sounds like there's a lot of strategy.
Yes.
And there's a lot of useful tips that we can learn from her. Today, we are just getting to know Jing Yi, right? Maybe another day we'll have her back again. Then maybe she can give us the guide, step 1, step 2, step 3. You know, the survival kit for eczema.
Fair.
Then we all can learn a lot more from that. Because I believe that there's just so much.
There is so much.
Like, I truly see all this as a life skill for people with skin condition to pick up, to learn.
Definitely.
In order to live a more fulfilling life.
Yeah, for sure.
And relationships are always one of the most important components that make our life complete and fulfilled. So it's actually especially important that we learn how to navigate this process to make sure that you are happy, but people who love you, they're happy too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So since we're talking about relationships, I heard that you've been going for therapy. So how has it been for you? Since when you started therapy actually?
I think I started around 2020 or 2021. And the main reason why I went for it was because I was having a really difficult relationship with my mother. I was doing MCO. I think she was only trying to help, but I had a lot of very weird triggers where she'll say one thing that sounds very harmless and I'll just get angry for a whole week. And then everyone in the house would just not be happy for a whole week. I do really love my mother, so I figured, okay, I need to do something about it. And it wasn't intentional, to be honest. I didn't start therapy because of my mother, but I ended it because of it. Because when I first went into therapy, I thought I was too overwhelmed at work and I needed someone to help me address the stress. So my first session in there, she probe, try to find out more. It's actually something else. So I was like, okay, wow, we are going there. Okay lah, can lah. Let's see what we get out of it. To be honest, it was not a very easy journey. I cried for every single session, throughout the entire session, all the time. But at the end of it, I got a lot of answers that I never thought I needed. I got a lot of understanding that I never thought I needed. And that's where things started changing. I changed a lot of my perspective as to how I view the relationship between me and my mom, the expectation of my mom, and where she comes from as her perspective for me. Because at the end of the day, I believe that all parents love their kids.
Yeah.
They all love their kids, right? They're not going to go like, I don't love you, it's okay, you're fine. Those are probably minorities. So if her starting point is, I care for my kid, I love my kid, then I needed to accept that as well. She's not coming from a bad place. She's not coming from a good place. But her method of caring for me is something that I didn't prefer. But that's my choice, right? I want to be loved this way, but she chose to love me this way. So that's where a lot of our misunderstanding really comes from.
I understand.
Yeah.
Let's dive in a little bit, to build a little bit more understanding. Can you share, apart from the nature of the relationship that you have with your mom, how does a skin condition play a part in forming the dynamic between you and your mom? And perhaps, how does it relate to your entrepreneurship journey and you as a person? Maybe lay the groundwork.
I think eczema hit me equally as hard as it hit my mom, because I think for a majority, she thought it was her fault.
Of course.
Right? She's like, oh, I didn't do it. I did certain thing bad during my pregnancy or whatever. Like, I mean, at the time I was already like 25, 26, you know. I don't think the pregnancy could have done that much, but it felt like it was her fault. So she was trying very hard to contribute.
Yes.
So she wants to help, right? And in her world, she thinks that A, B, and C is good for me. But in my world, based on whether it's my background, my education, my preference, I wanted C, D, and E. So there was really a lot of friction between the two of us because it's very weird lah. Two person who cares for each other, they just keep arguing like the way they love each other. It's actually really weird. So my therapist, what she did was she laid the groundwork in allowing me to understand that there are different ways of caring for each other and there are preferences. You just have to accept that there is. So that really opened my eye. Because in the past I thought she didn't care.
I see.
You know, I thought you just care about your method. You don't care about me. I thought it was that. But it was actually the other way around. She cared a lot. In fact, she cared too much. That she just keep asking and asking and asking for updates, asking whether or not I'm eating enough because, you know, I have so many things that are eliminated out of my diet. Are you eating enough? Are you eating enough? The more I hear about it, the more angry I get. So yeah, it was a really weird dynamic from the outside. Even my brother sometimes he'll pull me aside and say, what you did just now was not right. I was like, what did I do? I don't think I did anything wrong. He said, no, what you did was not right.
And you're the eldest.
And I'm the eldest. He's the youngest. He's 6 years younger than me.
Oh no.
What you did just now was not nice. I love him.
I want to meet your brother.
He's awesome. I love him. So yeah, it was really weird from the outside. A lot of people already think that, you know, this is like really weird. It's a weird dynamic.
好像火星撞地球.
Yeah, correct. So, and my therapist laid it out in a way that I could understand in a very non-judgmental way. I think that was the environment that I really needed at the time. To feel like I have weird thoughts, to feel like I have a lot of judgment on myself, but I was in an environment that regardless of what I say, I am not wrong. It's just my opinion. So she really laid the foundation really, really well for me. And she allowed me to understand that. And she laid out all the perspective lah, like, you know, it's like that, it's like that, it's like that. But oh, shit. So yeah, that was really the starting point, and that's why I continued for so long. I just want to understand more. Like from then, like she really opened up a Pandora box. I was like, okay, so what else? What else can I fix? So yeah, that was that. It was really good. My entrepreneurial journey was very interesting lah. I would say it gave me a lot of mental tool. You know.
At what age did you start your entrepreneurship journey?
24.
You're so young.
I started at 24. It was just like, okay lah, sounds fun, can make money, let's do it. I really didn't think much of it at the beginning. It was just a fun journey for me.
And that's why I admire. Like not knowing what is it, then you just went ahead with it, and look at you now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was difficult too.
It was difficult. I didn't think it was too difficult at the time because I had a small team with me and we were very close, we were very tight. So that helped. My boyfriend was very supportive. My dad was very supportive, mom not so.
So mom not so?
Because she's worried.
Okay.
In her mind, like in her perspective, she knows one way of living a career life, and that one way, in her opinion, was the safest way.
9 to 5.
You know? Yeah, 9 to 5.
Hey,
you know?
same.
Corporate job.
Same.
Got benefit, make sure got benefit. Like, okay, my company no benefit, how don't do lah. You know, but it was out of love. Again, it was out of love. It was just not what I chose to do. It was not my preference, but it was out of love. To her is, of course I don't want you to have no money lah. Of course I don't want you to sleep by the roadside lah. I want you to be happy, I want you to make money, I want you to be successful. So it was not wrong. But of course, for the longest time, I did see that as something that's not supportive, you know.
Yeah.
But in the end, I realized that that was her way of loving because in her world, that's the safest way. Why would I want to point a road where my daughter will masuk a longkang? I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want to point a road where my daughter will be safe. Not thriving maybe, but safe. Very, very safe. Because that's my mom's personality. She's a very safe person. Everything's safest. So that's how she operates. Yeah.
With her having the intention of you supposedly having a better life, doing things that she wanted you to, of course, when she saw you being on this entrepreneurship journey, you mentioned that she she was not being very supportive.
No.
Did you feel like you needed to work harder for her to acknowledge your success or your progress?
I do. I felt like I need to work really, really hard for her to say, wow, not bad what you're doing. At least that lah, not I'm proud of you lah, but like at least like, wow, you're doing not bad.
Did she ever say that?
No.
How did you feel about this? Like facing the person that you love the most?
She did say something along that lines. I think last year, end of last year, when I was like 6, 7, 8 years into my entrepreneurial journey. But her exact word was, don't worry lah. I think you're good. I'm not worried about you. So I take that as I'm proud of you lor. I translate it in my mind and think that's okay lah. She meant that lah. She meant
Asian
that.
parents, they have to decode what they say. It's damn funny.
Asian parents, when they say have you eaten, it means I love you.
Yeah.
Take it as that, you know.
That's why every time she see you, 有没有吃东西的?
No.
That's how that's how she says she loves you.
Yeah, correct. I think it started from me really knowing what I want. I know that entrepreneur journey is a lifestyle that I chose. It is very challenging, to be very honest. It's not easy at all. But see, the beauty of it is that I'm very happy throughout the entire year. Even though outside everyone was like, oh, are you okay? Sounds hard, sounds challenging. But I'm actually very happy doing this. To me, that's all that matters. Yes, it's difficult, but I like it. I enjoy the process. I don't see it as a burden. So I think that's a good sign. It's hard. It's a lot of responsibility. I don't see it as a burden. I see it as something that's really fun. It's hard, but at least, I have fun out of it. So I feel like if I were to put myself in a 9 to 5, I would not be happy. I would resent that decision. So I pick my happiness because I know that if I am happy, then people around me eventually will see that I am happy. So I mean, it took a while, but my mom did eventually say, yeah, I'm not worried about you, like, you're fine. So I was like, okay lah, can lah, after so many years.
她放心了.
Correct. 她还没有到 I'm proud of you lah, but it's okay.
Yeah. It's okay, no need to wait lah. Just take it as she said that.
Exactly. And to be honest, without my therapist, I don't think I'll get there. Yeah, because she allows me to understand everything from my mom's perspective. It's really about perspective. How you are able to put yourself in someone's shoes allow you to really understand them very quickly. So I try to do that as often as I can. Right? And the problem is we take a lot of things personally. When they say A, you decode it as B, C, D, E, F, G. And then you get angry out of it when they only say A. So in my head, I was like, let's not put so much burden on ourselves. Like, we already have so many things going on. You have life, we have health,
skin.
we have skin, we have enough, So let's not like put extra burden. And all of this is me putting all of it on myself. She technically didn't put it in me one. So I was like, hey, 怎么这样辛苦嘞？她又没有做什么坏事, right? It's only saying things in a way that you don't prefer. Then it's okay lah. Accept it as what it is. Yeah.
So it sounds to me that your relationship with your mom is a lot more peaceful now.
Oh, heaven and hell. I think number one, she is more 放心 for sure, seeing that my business right now is a lot more stable compared to when it started, seeing that my overall life trajectory is going through a more positive direction in terms of health, in terms of everything else. So I feel like, and also I try to allow her to understand every decision that I make. She might still think that, kids, don't know what you want. But I try to make her understand. I'm doing this because I already think through 5 options, because I have already did all of the pros and cons. That's why I choose this. I am not a 5-year-old anymore. I did do my research. So when she hears that, at least she feels like, okay, you make the decision knowing that you have already given up other options. It's not like I make it out of a whim. I don't make decisions out of a whim. So that allows her to again be a bit more 放心. So slowly lah, right? And then when you slowly build up that trust, things eventually become better. I trust that every single one of her advice came out of love, and she trusts that every decision that I make, I have already done enough research. I know very clearly the pros and the cons of entering this particular decision. So it's really like trust building, trust that small things, trust that you know that you are doing well, you know you're making the right decision. All of this thing really lay the foundation of our current relationship. So, and right now it's the other way around. You should come to me for advice, which is very strange.
Why we are having this conversation is, for me, is very important because I believe that the relationships that we have with people around us really plays a part in our emotional life, right? Our emotions and stuff like that. And our emotions are hugely related to our skin.
I like to think so. It's a recent discovery for me.
Yeah, so actually I would like to understand, did therapy help you to navigate easier when it comes to your skin condition?
I don't think therapy did anything directly. It's not direct, but overall, I'm at a more peaceful state right now. Peaceful state of mind. I am. The ratio of me being unhappy is a lot lesser at the moment. So I think that generally helps now. But I don't see any direct correlation at the moment because I feel like diet and supplementation and lifestyle, whatever, did improve a big chunk of my condition. But my recent discovery is that maybe the remaining one, because I've already done a lot of lifestyle changes, diet changes, supplementation changes and stuff like that. Even things like physical activity, workout, getting enough sun, red light therapy, all of that I have already been doing. Anything that's textbook that will help and heal an eczema, I have already been doing that. And I still have that remaining 20% and it's not going anywhere. You know, so I realized that your body is a whole package, right? You can't just segregate and say, I only want to fix this, I don't fix, because they all correlate. So my recent discovery is that I think the remaining, which is the scariest, hardest, you cannot see part, is really getting that mental health checked and settled and work it out. It's hard because every single time I feel like I have to dig very deep and open up a lot of things that in the past I chose to hide away. Like to me, I don't even remember any of them anymore. Yeah, so I feel like that's probably my next phase in my healing journey.
You're already doing it.
I try. Yeah.
And I really want to share that a lot of people, right, with skin condition on social media, they always say that stress is a huge factor of causing our skin condition to flare up. But I wish that people would start asking, why are you stressed? Like, sometimes people are stressed, yes, because of their work, but sometimes people are stressed because of the strained relationships that they have around people that they care about. Or even sometimes they are stressed is because they find it so hard to love themselves and accept themselves with skin condition. So yes, we may feel stressed, but I wish that we can start to ask more meaningful questions like, where is your stress really coming from? Dig deeper, get to know yourself more, and that is actually the starting point of all of us embarking on a journey of emotional healing, which is actually so important. And for the work that you do with your therapist, and like navigating the relationship that you have between you and your mother, such huge work. It's never easy.
No, it's not.
Sometimes it requires you to face your biggest fear. And sometimes for Asians, the biggest fear is saying I love you to our mother.
I say it to my girlfriend like nothing like that.
Exactly.
Love you, bye. Love you, okay, love you, okay.
Someone give them kisses sometimes. But when it comes to our mother, very hard.
For sure.
So thank you for doing the work, and I really appreciate you being so vulnerable, sharing this part of your journey with all of us. And I'm very excited to witness your journey ahead from here, and look forward to having you again on this show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit more about how your boyfriend is supporting you?
I think...
Wait, how long have you guys been together, by the way?
We've been together since November 2016. 7.5 years. Long time. I think this particular relationship was very different for me in a sense where at the beginning, I already know that this person is different and this person is special. So I would say in terms of effort-wise, I did put in a very different approach as to how I want to, okay, manage sounds very weird, how I want to interact with this person, this very important person in my life. In the beginning, I have already decided that let's choose peace over victory. Because in the past, all of my other relationships, whenever we argue, it could be the smallest thing, smallest tiny little peanut, and I just want to win. You know. So right now, I just keep telling myself, peaceful, happy relationship is more important than my ego winning. So I started that. So that I think laid a very good foundation for the two of us. We don't really argue, we just have misagreements. And every single time there's a misagreement, I try my best not to be emotional about it, but just talk it through, and hopefully while you are talking it through, you get better understanding, you no longer make that same mistake. So our foundation started out, I would say, pretty strong as a couple. And when this thing happened, it became really natural for him to accept that this is the state, right? And to be honest, he's a pretty chill person too, and I can feel that, you know, I can feel his love, I can feel his affection. Like, all he wants is just for me to be happy and healthy. So I feel like it was quite natural. And to be honest, that support, these support, they don't come out very like straight in your face. When it comes out as small things like, oh, you look like your skin's very dry, let me find you a lotion that is, you know, don't have a lot of bad chemicals in it, don't have, you know, the list of bad chemicals goes on forever. You know, you cannot eat so many things. Never mind, we try to cook at home lah. We go learn how to cook. Or like, you know, I complain about this thing and then he remembers about it, for example. And of course, the most frequent thing that he did for me was he defended me so many times. Like, oh, you really can't eat this. Let's make sure that this is not in your food. Let me remind you that, you know, you're going out in 2 hours. Can you make sure that your skin is hydrated first so that you're comfortable, that kind of thing. So it's a lot of small things that really made this journey a bit more bearable. A bit more bearable, for sure. Honestly, I think without him, I wouldn't have the progress that I have today, I feel, right? Because really sometimes all of these little supports, they add up. They add up as little courage that you slowly build up in yourself. And I keep telling myself, I know it's difficult, but it's okay. Yeah. So really he plays quite a pivotal role. And a lot of times when my social battery is really out already, you know, I run out of energy to just want to explain to people why I'm like that. He will be the one that's doing it. Yeah, Jing Yi cannot eat one, you don't know what, man. You know, so he'll do it. And the thing is, the best thing is he always does it in a very casual way, so no one really feels offended. Like, he just looks like a caring boyfriend, which is awesome, like, which he is. Yeah, and that was really, really, it's a support that I really, really appreciate.
It's very beautiful because I used to don't understand this also. Like, how does it really feel like being loved and being supported by the right person?
Yes.
And one of my biggest takeaway that I also observed from your sharing is that the right person actually make you feel so much more courageous to be yourself.
Yes. It really is a world of a difference being together with the right person, and more directly is the person that is more suitable for you.
Yeah.
It really is a very big difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to be very honest, I've heard a lot of stories about women out there. And of course, part of them, you know, some of them have skin condition.
Yeah.
They, for some reason, that we're not here to judge, but they did allow their other half to put them down, to put them, you know, to make them feel small and to silence them. So I think for a long time I didn't have the courage and the reason to believe that I could be in a supportive relationship until that I am in one currently right now. And all I can tell you is so different.
It's so different, really
And
is.
we are not having this conversation to show off, but we are here to show you that the right relationship will actually push you to a greater height.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you find yourself in one relationship that is not doing this for you, it is an invitation for you to think about it.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Yeah.
I always, I don't know, I just feel very important to say this because women give so much.
We do. We really do.
And one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves is choosing the right partner to live life with.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful that you found that person for you. And I saw her partner a few times. Oh, sorry lah, but the first thing that I realized is he's shorter than you.
The only thing that really made me question whether or not I want to be together with him, and I told this to a few of my best friends. He's very good lah, everything very good lah, but then they all look at me, really? That's the only thing that's stopping you? Really matters, meh? I'm like, you know, because Chinese girls, you always like, you see drama, you know, you see like Hong Kong shows and whatsoever. It's always the guy that's taller and the girl that's shorter. Then, you know, those romantic scenes, you know, the guy like, wow, put the shoulder over her, stuff like that. You have imaginations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like, really? But I took a leap of faith lah, because even knowing him for the first few months as just friends, I realized that I can really be myself with him, which I find really weird at first.
That's the best.
I find it really weird at first. I was like, this guy is a bit weird, huh? But he feels very authentic to himself. That was my first impression of him, a bit of a weirdo. But this weirdo never judged me one. I can say whatever I want to do, whatever I want to wear, whatever. He would never go like, ew, why you wear that one? Or like, ew, why your haircut? Never once. Whereas even like some friends, they're like, why your haircut like that one? Why you wear like that one? They will say things like that. And in the past, I was in relationship that was like that. You shouldn't wear this lah. You shouldn't talk like that lah. You shouldn't think like that lah. You know, I always have that. And with him, I don't feel that at all, which was very weird at first for me, but quite refreshing. So I went into it really like just a leap of faith lah. Like, never try any lah. We see how. You know, see how it's been 7+ years.
We have the same experience. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all that you did. Before we wrap up the conversation, honestly, I think that, you know, I have learned so much from this conversation with you. And I will say it again, I don't say it in her face, but I actually really admire her. And I'm just very grateful that you show up in our first meetup, community meetup, and why am I tearing up? And we have stayed friends ever since.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would say that I'm their inspiration. I feel like I see that in you too. Like I really feel inspired, and I think it's also because your journey really resonated with me a lot. And we are both the eldest daughter of the family. We share the same dynamic with our parents. Yeah, so it hasn't been easy lah. So
No,
that's
it's
why your story is so important too. So, okay, before we wrap up, I would just like to invite you, is there anything else that you would like to share with anyone that's listening to this right now?
First of all, thank you. I really admire your courage also. I think it's really not easy to put yourself out there. I was approached by a lot of opportunities and friends to share my journey out there, and I'm very hesitant of it. I was very worried that people would judge me, I'll get bad comments, you know, you get involved in like some weird online drama or whatever. I was very afraid. I'm a non-confrontational person. I hate confrontation. And it's not easy. It takes a lot of courage to really want to put yourself out there in the open with the goal of really bringing that community to a new height, to make everyone feel comfortable, to make people feel safe in a particular environment. I think it's really something, to do that, not just for yourself, but for so many people out there. It's really amazing work that, what you're doing right now. And I think it deserves a lot more credit, So that's what I really wanted to say.
Thank you.
And I'm very happy that, I went for that. I was quite resistant to go for that, to be honest. But the first meetup, yeah. My boyfriend was the one, go lah, why not? You go lah, I fetch you there, I wait for you in the cafe. He was the one that says, just go. You never know who you're going to meet, you never know what's going to happen. Maybe you find a community that's supportive and understands your journey, which I did. It was awesome. I would say the final giveaway here is that really give yourself the opportunity to get to know yourself. I feel like a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of unhappy relationship, anything that's negative, right, really comes from us overthinking. Because we already have this condition. You already give yourself a lot of discount. I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, no one's gonna love me, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's gonna complain, things like that. You really give yourself a lot of discount. But the right community, the right tribe, what they have really taught me is that the problem that I have, I am the one that amplified it myself. I think this is the biggest problem. To be honest, every single time I have a flare-up, my boyfriend don't see it. Got me? When do you have a flare-up?
Oh my God,
I'm like, hello? It's here.
As if they're blind.
It's on my face. You cannot see me. See red color one. Oh. We amplify a lot of problems that we think we have. And sometimes we have to accept and understand that we are a whole package. We're a human of a whole package. Your attitude to life, your laughter, your thoughts, your brain, all of this thing constitutes you. You are not just your skin. You are not just what people see outside. A lot of people love you for what you are inside there. And accept that you have great qualities, and the right people who will love you regardless.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, even I need to be reminded at myself too. I always cover it up, end up heating me up. Like I get really uncomfortable with heat, to be honest, but I still cover up a lot of the time. And sometimes I just be like, you know what? Got a few scars here and there, nobody cares. So lately, I only started accepting that I can wear sports bra, I can wear short pants, and even if I have scar, honestly, nobody cares. There are so many times already I talk to my friend, I'm having a flare-up right now, only they go, you have a flare-up right now. They don't see it. So why are we amplifying a problem that no one really sees it to begin with? So it really starts from here. It starts from you. And I think we all should give ourselves a little bit more credit that you are worth a lot more than what you think you're worth. Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful wrap up for our episode today. It's been such a good chat. I really didn't want this to end. I always say this, but I always want to invite my guests, in the future, come back again and update us about their lives and stuff, which we're going to do that, okay? And, but yeah, I would just like to say thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having
this conversation with us and playing a part in bringing up the community to a greater height, like you say, because this work can never be done alone.
No. Yeah.
So if you have a story to share, please don't hesitate to drop me a message.
Please come.
My own personal page or even the Glow Beyond podcast page. Please come and have a chat. You will never know who you are able to help until you do it.
Yes.
We always think that we are alien, my story is useless, I'm one of a kind. But actually no, all of our voices is so relatable to people out there. And you sharing your life, you may actually save a life too. So thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one. And don't forget to glow beyond your skin condition. Bye!